Welcome back, Galaxy Brains. We are the Film Lovers Guide to the Galaxy. It's been a while. If it's your first time listening to us, my name is Johnny. I am here with Jared and Joe, and we are three guys that normally just talk about movies, among other stuff. If it's your first time listening, I just let you guys know. Normally, we'd run some shenanigans, then we talk about our movie of the week. But since it's been a while, I'm going to change the format just for this one time before we get into the swing of things. If you're a regular listener, you know what's coming up. Like I said, if it's your first time, our guy here, I like this segment. We'd like to hear it. What is really grinding Joe's gears this week?
So I'm not gonna. The point of this rant is this. Let's say that costs you like 20 grand a year, okay? And the insurance covers 80. You're like, oh, it's a pretty good deal. Well, no, you have cancer.
What's the worst thing you'll do for $1 million?
Fuck you! Stop fucking dropping oil into the Gulf, you dipshits. Fucking morons.
Joe, I miss this segment, but I'm also terrified because it's been several weeks. So, what's really grinding your gears this week?
So definitely throughout the pandemic and all that shit, a lot of us went out to eat, and it's more of a going out to eat topic. If you went to a place that served Tex-Mex and they gave you free chips and salsa,
yeah,
and let's say that the chips and salsa were straight garbage, it was terrible. Does that annoy you at all because it's free?
Yeah. No, it annoys me because it's not hard to have good Tex-Mex or like chips and salsa.
Okay, but the fact that it's free doesn't, lend to it. No,
well, to me, if it's free, that means this is you putting your best foot forward because you're like, oh, here, let's bring you in, right? So if you're giving me something for free and it tastes like shit, imagine what happens when I actually pay the money to get the food.
So
right?
On top of that, because I've been noticing that, and I think that a lot of people notice this, like Mexican foods. I mean, this is my experience recently. Mexican food's been getting kind of expensive, and the other day I went to like I don't know if it's called a Tex-Mex place, but it's regular Mexican restaurant. It was something like $19 for enchiladas. Something crazy. It's insane. So a funny thing happened. So the place will not be named, and nor will the people that are working there. But
what does it rhyme with?
Well, I mean, it's a local place. It doesn't really. It's not it's not a national chain.
Damn.
If you had a shitty waiter, and the bill comes, and they forgot a small item on that bill, $5. Okay, would you say something?
Yeah,
you would. You're like, hey, you forgot this.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you still tip them the 18%?
Yes. Oh, of course.
Even for shitty service.
I've had this conversation with a lot of people. Fuck you, you shitty service, yada yada. I've been in instances where I've given shitty service, and it's just been a bad day. Sometimes you just have bad days. Bad days. And sorry, that was a weird voice thing. Yeah, sometimes you just have bad days. But also, like, hey man, like, just because you gave me shitty service doesn't mean I don't want you to have like a standard of living. Like, you go get that bag, but also I'm gonna let you know that you had. Let's be like, hey man, like,
oh, you say something and you still tip normal. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
They'll know. They'll know. I will let them know. It won't be like, hey, you gave me shitty service, but they'll know.
Okay. And they don't. And your way of doing it is telling them and standard tip.
Oh yeah, I always tip.
You are like on that other spectrum, right? Because I think, at least for me, growing up, I think I can't disassociate the service with the employment, and you are able to do that. That is high level. You're suggesting, or not suggesting, you do, like, if it's bad service, you're like, hey, you might have had a bad day, but this shit sucked. Here's still 18%. That's something that I don't think a lot of people can disassociate.
Have you ever been to a restaurant when somebody in your party has been just fucking rude?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that the worst?
It's the worst. That's when I have to tip a little bit more, even if the service was whatever. That's me overcompensating.
Hold up.
Yeah.
So if it was shitty on our end, we would tip more than 18%. But if it's shitty on their end, what if someone in your party had a bad day?
That doesn't mean you're like.
Obviously you don't want to be rude to the people that are serving.
But the power dynamic is different.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
But
if they're not they're like define shitty service, not refilling my cup enough. Like
no,
what?
let's say that they forget your food or bring something back, they spill something on your lap, like obviously bad.
That's not bad service. That's just bad luck. Like if he was, but if they're like, oh, whatever, I forgot your thing, I'm gonna be a little peeved. But if it's just like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I forgot this, I'll put it in right away. You know,
Let me
if
give
it's
you
like
a
a
scenario.
legitimately like bad person, then yeah, I'm gonna be
Okay,
pissed.
well
But
let me give you a scenario.
Service and attitude. I mean,
yeah, give
service
me
is attitude. Doing
me in the
something messing up is luck.
Joe.
From
Put me in
what
the
he's saying.
danger room. Put me in the
Yeah.
danger room.
Oh,
Okay,
give him a scenario. Let me see
Here's a
this.
scenario. And
Put me in the danger room.
this is what happened to me in Huntington Beach. I went to an Asian place. I was one of 2 people that were in that restaurant for some reason. It was way
Mhm.
before COVID. You can see it was so empty that you could see the kitchen where they place the food.
Yeah.
So we're just chilling, we're waiting. And I personally, my level of service requirement minimum is very low. Bring the
Mhm.
food, bring the water, bring me the check. That's it, and I'll give you the standard tip. I think that's fair. I see the food come out, and the guy's on his phone, and so I was younger then. I didn't want to. I sit there. I'm like, this is maybe that's not our food. And then like another 20 minutes goes by, so I kind of go up. Goes, is that our food? It's like, oh yeah. Oh, it's your food. So it brings it out to me, or me and a friend of mine. I forget who was with me. We eat our food, and we're like, can we get a box? Like, yeah. So he goes back. He's on his phone again. We're just sitting there. We're like, it's just a box. 15. Again, there's only like 2 or 3 parties total, and there are 2 tops. So I go up there. I'm like, can I get the box? Oh yes. Oh yeah. Let me get it to you. So he gets it. But he's on his. I have to remind him to get off his phone, right?
Yeah.
So what's the situation there? And the bill wasn't that big. It was probably like $20.
How old was this guy? Is he boomer?
No, I want to. Well, he's on his phone, so I want to say at the time, maybe I was maybe 20 at the time. He was maybe 25. 25, 26. It's my guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, shit, man.
like that's the attitude thing, right? Or that's like straight up not doing your job thing, right?
Yeah, that I agree. That
How's
I
the
think
tipping
is just,
situation there?
You said it was $20.
And yes, I understand. Well, that's another thing altogether.
Okay,
but do you standard tip is the question
for the price of the meal? If it's 20,
No.
like you said,
Do you standard tip? Yes or no?
no.
Okay. Because
that is a automatic. I mean, it sounds bad, and hopefully we don't have. I mean, we probably do.
It's hard to leave
more
out any
typical
details on that meal.
That
That was
one,
just-
right? But for me, that's like straight up like me tipping as if I'm in a Vietnamese restaurant growing up, and I know what that
$1
standard tip looks
Oh,
like.
okay.
Like that is $1.
It was an Asian place. It was actually a Vietnamese place.
But that's kind of like a mindset, which also I think is really weird. That like for some reason when I'm in like if we go down Bosa, if I go to like a pho place or something like that, right?
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like cash.
Bolsa Magnolia.
Yeah, I just tip like $1, $2, $3,
That's
right?
a standard. That's a
like
standard,
the
right?
standard. But then
The dollar method, everything evens out.
evens out. And then just for me, it's like going to a regular American restaurant where there's standardized tipping. It's just like it blew my mind the first time I actually had to do it. But in your situation, Joe, yes, I wouldn't give the standard tip.
So the second question I have would be another guy was saying is when did 17, 18% be the standard? You know how long time it was like 15% was like for a while? Some
Cost
guy
of
was
living.
Right.
Cost of living, baby.
Someone said, "Oh, it's inflation, cost of living," but it's still a percentage, right? Like if the cost of food goes up, your tip goes up because that's what happened, right?
It's inflation,
No, but this is still a percentage. Like it does, the inflation has zero effect on this. Like inflation will make your food cost 20% more. Therefore, your tip will increase by 20% if the percentage stays the same. I don't understand where this came from. Well, I mean, I don't agree with the whole American system, but I also agree with the fact that you shouldn't punish the person. I get that. You don't punish the person in the shitty system. I think we should do it European style, but that's neither here or there. That too. And then the second thing that people, maybe the third thing, and this will be my last bit, is pre-tipping. So whenever you do DoorDash, order pizza, I don't understand the idea of tipping before it happened. Like, what's that all about? Like,
it's just a scam, dude.
like, bro. And I'm guessing that the better you tip, the faster your food comes. Probably, like whatever order. If some dude's like tipping 40%, like, oh, I'll get this guy's food real quick. But Not that I'm the guy that uses DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever a lot.
It
I do
could
it once
be.
in a while.
I do remember the last time I took an Uber, like during that service, they're like, "Oh, you can tip ahead." I'm all like, "I'm still in this car riding, like this guy's driving. Like, why? Why would I like the method of like Starbucks, where it's like, you have 2 hours before we close this. You can tip within these 2 hours," and I'm like, oh, okay.
You tip at Starbucks?
No, what I'm saying is I like the method that Starbucks uses, which is there's a delayed, like you can tip up until 2 hours
Oh.
after your order,
So,
right?
I mean, on that note, why is Uber a tipped service? You're paying for the service. What are you tipping for?
Because
The
these guys
service?
are getting paid like shit.
I get it, but like, isn't that like kind of a double dip? You're paying for the service and then you're tipping for the service. Whereas for restaurant, you're paying for the food and tipping for the service.
But you're also, well, I'm okay. You're right. Like,
I don't think the whole idea of these guys paying like shit should be the onus of the customer. Although it is, and I get it, and I know that these guys are trying to make a living. I get that.
so
It's just a shitty
I
system.
guess the question is like, at least with Uber Eats, it's like the service is you not wanting to go, right? So that cancels out. So then at
No.
that point, it is.
Yeah, but you're paying for the food and then you're paying for the service, which is delivery.
Wouldn't you do that if you go to a restaurant?
No, I'm
buying
talking
the
about
food and
if
then
you're-
tipping.
Yeah, I know, but I thought in your case you're getting an Uber to the airport or something.
Oh no, I was using yours. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because if you're ordering Uber Eats, right? Like the idea
yeah.
you're ordering food is because you don't want to drive. So let's say that just cancels out because your drive and time matches that. So then the tipping portion becomes, I would equate it to, if this was good, I would have tipped if I was eating at the restaurant anyway.
So the best tip that I gave out recently was a 20.
Okay, for what?
And it was at fucking Sizzler, dog.
Dude, I haven't stepped inside a Sizzler in like decades, man. What were you
That's
doing
what
at
I
a
was
Sizzler?
saying. So I listened to a food, like a place that reviews chain restaurants, Doughboys, and they had an episode on Sizzler. I'm not kidding you. And we went for just shits and giggles. We went for laughs because I was like, man, this is gonna be fucking terrible, right?
Uh-huh.
You're gonna say it's good?
It was one of the best meals I've had in a really long time.
What?
Wow.
And the guy and the server was amazing. Shout out to Oscar.
What made the service amazing?
So I'm gonna run you through the meal.
All right.
We get there, and in the outside is shambolic. I'm like, oh, I don't know if we should be here. There's a fucking Winnipeg.
On like McFadden or something?
What is it?
There's only one Sizzler there.
I only know the one on Warner and Bouchard.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
okay.
Warner Bouchard. There's a Winnebago in the parking lot, and I'm going, oh man, this is a mistake. I don't know. And we're just okay. Well, we'll go anyway. Step inside, and it is immaculately clean.
Yeah, because 4 people go a year.
No, bro. This had some. There were a lot of people there, so we step in. First thing we get in line, we're looking. Guy comes up. Hey, are you guys ready? I can take you over to the register. No, we'll wait a little bit. Oh yeah, just let me know when you're ready. Okay, cool. So
wait, is this an order in the front and get your meal later sort of deal?
Correct.
Okay.
So I got ribs. So a 6 ribs, pork rib, baby back ribs, and French fries with the salad bar. All you can eat salad bar. So to add salad bar on, it was $7. My ribs were $16. Right, real good deal.
Okay.
So my girlfriend got all you can eat shrimp and a steak for $21, and then she added on the salad bar. So about $30 each, right? Mm-hmm. For our meal. I'm not kidding you. The cheesy toast, delicious. The cornbread I had from the salad bar, delicious. I made a little salad for myself. I'm not kidding you. Like, and my girlfriend had the steak. She said it was absolutely fine. It was good. She had her meal. The shrimp, guys, was delicious. So we're eating and Marco comes up. Oh yeah, let me get it. He is on the spot with the refills. Okay. We post up in front of the TV. I'm watching playoff basketball, eating all you can eat shrimp, eating my fucking ribs. It was awesome. So the Oscar comes up to us. Hey, here's another plate full of shrimp, and we didn't even ask for it. And we're like, oh God, thank you, and blah blah blah. So we're full at this point. We are very full, and he's been hooking it up with the cheesy bread and everything. We didn't even have to ask. He's just doing it on his own. We're like, hey, can we have a couple boxes? Sure. He gives us up 2 boxes, 2 to-go boxes. One of them is full of shrimp, the breaded, all you deep fried shrimp to go home. And we're like, oh my God. And dog, he was the nicest. He was Johnny on the spot about everything. I will hold everybody to that standard now of what a good wait. Like, that was probably the best service I've ever had anywhere. And it's that fucking Sizzler.
You hear that, Oscar? You have ruined it with everyone.
Dog, on the way out, it's all you can eat soft serve. So I got myself a cone. It was fantastic. Highly recommend Sizzler. I know you haven't been in a long time. Go to Sizzler. Support your local Sizzler.
Are Sizzlers now like franchise? So it's like owned by, you know what I mean? It could be like owned by a local dude instead of like being a chain.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
Okay, because those tend to be better, you know, than a national chain.
Clearly, this guy was putting in the money in the inside on the inside of the restaurant versus the outside. And while we were leaving, this like group of a bunch of Asian people like our age just came out from playing basketball, like 18 of them, and they were sat, they were eating. Like, I was like, hell yeah, millennial Sizzler supporting.
I like that because you tip more for good service.
Oh yeah,
but the opposite does not exist for you.
I'll tip. The floor for me is 18. The floor,
I feel like
for me is 18%.
I always thought that 18 was the standard, and if anything goes substandard, that's how it works. But that's just me. I do have a floor, but it's not 18. And I think that there's definitely look, there's definitely going to be scenarios, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen to you guys, where you have someone that's a complete intentional bitch to you, and they should get 0. Like those situations do exist. I know a lot of people that have a floor for 18. They refuse to tip less than 18 if the person was an intentional asshole to you. I'm saying that it's very rare.
You've been someplace where they're intentionally.
So this person was a straight up dick. I don't know why. I don't get it. It was a combination of forgetting that. Remember how I gave you the scenario of forgetting the food? Think of that, but not being forgetful, but being like more of a fuck you thing, as if they're like trying to quit or something. Again, it's a one-off. It only happens once in my life, and I'm just saying those scenarios exist, and I think that a 0% tip is valid. That's just my 2 cents, and I guess that's my rant, supposedly.
Well, first off, shout out to the Sizzlers off Warner and
I will check out the Sizzler since you're so gung-ho about it. I haven't been a Sizzler in feels like 20 years. Honestly, Sizzler's been around for a long-ass time.
As patrons, our friend Andy Yoon has a theory, but if you know you're going to have bad service or not, when you look at a waiter and they approach you, what are there any telling signs if you think you're going to have bad service or not? No,
I try really not to judge a book by its cover, but like majority of the time, you just come up to me, say, "Hey, can I take your order? Bring something to drink." That's very standard for me, and that's again 99.9% of the time I get decent standard service. Okay, I want to put that out there to not make it seem like some dude that's trying to go out there and I get bad experiences all the time. It's it's the world. Anything can happen, but most of the time it's good standard service, and I tip accordingly.
How do you guys feel when you're about to order and the waiter's like, "Oh yeah, I got it," doesn't write anything, doesn't have anything?
That's fine. If you fuck it up, right. Yo, are you talking about that one time? So I don't know if I was there. It was Umami Burger, and there was like a group of like 8 of us, and the guy's like very chill, very nice. He goes, "Yep, I got yours. Okay, cool." He came back like 9 times. What was your again? Oh yeah. What was your again? Oh yeah. I'm like,
you can't.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to flex on us? You know what I mean?
I think that's why Yoon was scarred. So now every time he sees someone that takes an order and doesn't write anything, he's like, it's either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad.
It was actually funny more than anything for me. Like I like Umami Burger. The food's good. The food came out, I think, relatively at a good pace. It was just a stupid, funny moment, is what it was. Like he fell flat right on his face. Poor guy.
Speaking of burgers, I went with you a couple of days ago. We were at Shake Shack and they had this new Maker Marks bourbon
Yo, you think that's new? It's been
burger.
here for a minute. It's been here in Kentucky for a minute.
Yeah, you get fucking bourbon in anything in Kentucky.
Yeah, they're just like fucking bourbon on fries, bourbon on milkshakes. Just pour that shit in. That's what they do.
I mean, I had it. It's fine. I didn't think it was like the end all be all that I would order there. I just thought it was like, oh.
I don't get why here in the state of Kentucky, because they make all the bourbon, they feel the need to add bourbon to everything. Like, some things just don't work.
Because it keeps the economy going, bro.
Dude, people... Okay, look, there's a shortage of bourbon where people buy it too much and they're running out. There's no issue with selling the bourbon. You don't need to add
That's
the
the
shit to
issue
food.
with your fucking drunkards.
Yeah, they buy that shit out. Everything's marked up because we're dealing with bots, scalpers and shit like that. I don't know if it's because of the... They straight up scalp the shit out of this and they resell it like tickets.
Bots?
Like, what the fuck, right?
Bourbon bots is a great...
It's so stupid. It's dumb. And it's for those like small batch stuff that, you can't really get anywhere else. And they mark that shit up 300%. It's fucking worse. I hate scalpers.
All right. Yeah, man.
I
paid $400 for my Jordans.
Do it!
Let me ask you guys something. Speaking of basketball, are you guys having more fun watching the games this year? Or are you having more fun watching inside the NBA?
When they brought out the TBS basketball or baseball guys the other night or last night, whenever that was awesome.
I think I've always enjoyed inside the NBA.
To me, like, for some reason, like they always hit it with gold, but this year or this postseason, they've been going nuts on two things. One, you were talking about bringing the baseball crew from TBS, right?
Yeah.
And this whole time, Shaq sometimes is very dismissive about, because he's a champion, and he's all like, "Oh, all you gotta do is switch. You gotta do is switch." And then when Kenny runs that play, and I forget who scored, I'm just like, "See, it's like this is why it's hard to guard the Warriors, because Barkley yelled switch and Shaq didn't do shit." And it just I think that was funny. But another thing I was actually curious about to ask is, like, did you guys see the whole when they had this conversation about being the bus driver and bus rider, just in regards to like Kevin Durant, and because they were talking about the Kevin Durant and his championships with the Warriors. I think we can all relatively agree those 3 years that he played there and he won the 2 rings, he was the best player on that team. But the question was like, even though he was the best player on the team, was he the one driving the bus? Was he the actual leader on that team? To me, it never was Durant. It was always Curry. Curry's the leader of that team. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. So, but then I just think it's funny because Kenny Smith, like, he gets very upset because he's like, I'm not a bus rider. Like, I did help with the championship, even though we all know Olajuwon did a lot of the heavy lifting for those Rockets teams.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love that they brought the bus at the end of one of the segments, and they're like, oh shit, it's an actual real bus. But I was talking to Joe about this. Contrary to some people, Joe, our group of friends, I don't hate Chris Paul as much as most people do.
It's so weird, dude.
So, but
why? Chris Paul's Chris Paul. Sorry,
Johnny likes to defend Chris Paul.
Look here, but this is where it really is crazy to me, because Joe is. If you ask Joe, when it comes to basketball, he's very. He loves talking about the stats. He loves, winning the ring, stuff like that. When we look at Chris Paul's stats, it's not even arguable. He is a top 5 point guard of all time. Yeah, and if he wins a ring, it kind of just elevates him. Like, he hops over people like John Stockton, like Mark Jackson, shit like that. But I understand that he bends the rules of the game because he doesn't get caught. I understand that. That's why people hate him sometimes.
Hold up. Is it bending a rule if you break a rule and you don't get caught?
It's like speeding. Like, if we don't get caught, they're going to keep doing it. So the onus isn't on Chris Paul. The onus is on the refs to do the right thing. Am I right about this? It's like,
I mean,
don't hate the player, hate the game, dude.
I guess, but like, My thing is this: my general consensus, and I felt this about Chris Paul even from New Orleans. He is a fantastic player, great ball handles, great mid range, great court vision, great basketball IQ. He also seems like a dude I would never hang out with him because he seems so something's up his ass. I don't know what's going on. But there are times where he's hanging out with his kids. He's like a really cool dude, so I don't know what's going on. The thing is, if he's so good, he doesn't need to do these antics. I don't get it. Like I don't think that his winning percentage or his success will be that much different if he didn't pull this bullshit, right? Now I'm not talking like selling like a hard foul or something. Because for example, like Carmelo, he just eats a hard foul, he gets less calls because he's a bigger dude. And that's what it is. But I just recently saw this thing where he grabbed another dude's arm, put it against him, he falls over, and the guy gets charged for an offensive foul. Shit like that, man. It's just like,
I thought that was funny.
I don't know. It just obviously it in terms of in public discourse, he's not very well liked in terms of that shit. He's like if Pat Bev was good. You know what I mean? Just like shit like that.
What an insult to Chris Paul.
I mean, if Pat Bev was a point guard, it'd be Chris Paul. Like, first of all, shout out to Pat Bev because the guy, you know, he grinded his way to the NBA. He's making the money. He's securing the bag. I can respect that, and I can respect any player that can secure the bag. First of all, you should also secure the bag. But like, just the shit he pulls off, and there's I want to say there's a reason he's never won one. I don't know if it's karma or if like people are like figuring the shit out that he does. But I never will like it. I will never like it. If you ever played a clean series with him, I'll respect him once. But he's never done that yet. It's always some bullshit, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
If you're 6 foot, sometimes you gotta try to maneuver.
Dude.
But it's crazy because I understand what you're saying, because it is the same argument I've made about James Harden this whole time, because I believe when in his prime, he's probably a top 5 offensive player ever during that prime. He didn't need to sell those free throws. That's not something that I think he needed to do because he can get his own bucket. But they were calling the fouls, and so he just abused it. And then now, when you see that he's kind of out of shape, he can't do shit in Philly right now. And the one time they need him because Embiid is out, nowhere to be seen, right?
And I'm not singling Chris Paul out for his bullshit. It's any player that does kind of that bullshit. You know, it's across the board. Not a fan of doing that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm not gonna also be the guy that says you should never ever bend the rules because you know sometimes you sell a call and it is what it is. But there's a line to how much bullshit you should be doing. And yes, it is on the refs. And like
the refs have been especially bad this year.
But that's what I mean. Like, where's the accountability? You know, so I just saw a video.
There's no accountability.
For example, there's baseball. I just saw a guy that took 3 balls and he got called out. And then
Ozuna. Yeah,
he's like yelling at him and it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, what I don't get is, at least for baseball, it's effectively a turn-based game. Why not make it computerized for the pitching part? It's something to do with tradition. Something to do with the fact that
that is a Jared question there.
Because you see the box on the screen and you see where the ball is.
You're right. I don't know. I think it's part of it is probably not taking away the human element of it, even though
that's the argument.
Even if they got it completely wrong, there should be a buzz somewhere. Be like, hey man, that was pretty much in the zone, you know.
I mean, if you want to keep the human element, keep the umpires for everything else. Just keep the pitching part computerized. Just fucking put a light up.
So here's my idea I think you need to have both. Like Joe said, you need to have the robo umps that alert the ump behind the plate that it was just an egregious call and he was wrong. I think it's there as a fail safe. That way you still have the human element, but also, you know what I mean? Like,
I understand what you're saying. I think
a lot of baseball stands are saying, "Oh, will that ruin like perfect games or like no hitters or that kind of like historically stuff?"
Are those guys over the age of 50? Because if they are, I don't give a
I
shit.
don't know. It's just
I
I
mean,
don't think it makes any change.
it is. I think we've talked about it before, but baseball is a game that needs to lower their average viewer age. Like it cannot
Also,
be in their average viewer cannot be in the 30s and 40s. It has to
um,
be. It has to start skewing lower at some
how
point.
do you guys feel about that electronic catcher pitcher sign? Thing. Like he pushes some button on here, he goes, "Oh, it's a fastball." And he beeps in his hat or something like that.
Yeah.
Is good or bad? Like prevents sign stealing.
Mm.
I mean,
Like
sign
they're-
stealing is part of the sport, but not
Yeah.
to the point.
What?
Like-
Not to the point of banging the trash cans.
Right. I know, but like
Shit.
you know how they're trying to combat it, right? And so this is like the true way to I don't know. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess real quick, Jared, Mike Trout, is he? Are we going to see another player like this in a while?
Shohei.
No,
What-
he's better than he's better than Shohei.
Yeah. Are we going to see another player like Shohei in a while?
No,
Oh yeah, he's too much of a well-rounded guy.
Joe, is Chris Paul top 5 point guard all time?
Okay, so
Let's
I'd
throw
have-
out Magic
Okay,
is Magic's
Magic.
there, right?
You have Stockton.
Hmm.
You have you're not gonna say Stockton?
I'm not saying John Stockton isn't a top 5. I'm saying him and Chris
you know
Paul
how much
might be there.
you know how much it bums me out that Stockton is a fucking anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, it bums me out so much.
Okay, so if you were to say it, you say Magic.
Yes,
Let's say Big O,
yes.
Jerry West. You want to put Curry?
Man,
Curry's better than Chris Paul, though.
no, I agree with Curry being there. Even though he's not a traditional point guard, he is a point guard.
Okay.
I'm talking about Jerry West because I know they classify him as a point guard, but he was a shooting guard.
Okay.
Same thing with Curry, right? It's
So
kind of
is Stockton better than Chris Paul? I believe so.
I.
But does that have to do with the mailman?
That's the thing. I think the reason why I give Chris Paul an edge over Stockton is because Stockton had something very consistent for the longest time, and that was Karl Malone.
Okay.
And I've seen Chris Paul go to 4 different franchises and raise their ceiling. Each of one of them.
The greatest what if in sports is if they don't block that Laker trade with Chris Paul.
That's true. Now,
I'm pretty sure if they didn't block that Laker trade with Chris Paul would probably be the best point guard of all time because LA has a way of hyping everything up. And we probably wouldn't hate him.
is he clearly better than Nash?
Yes. Chris Paul?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Even
I'd
with
say,
just MVPs.
I would say Chris Paul's top 5 all time. I would have
Okay.
to agree with that. Assuming Jerry West.
The metric of where I base point guards on is that like you got to make your whole team better, and I think Magic is the best in that regard. Like
What about Isaiah Thomas?
no, fuck Isaiah Thomas.
Because he's a dick, right? Because he's a dick, right? You can say the same shit about Chris Paul. He's a dick.
Nah, but not like that. Not,
Yeah,
not in that.
I think a true scale of a point guard is: do you have to be a floor raiser? They have
Isaiah
to be
Thomas
a floor raiser.
beat Jordan. That's a pretty good, in the 80s.
Yeah, but he didn't.
That
Jordan
wasn't because
have
of
Pippen
him.
yet. That was
It's 'cause of the
that was
whole
more
bad
because
boy
Bill
business.
Laimbeer and
He's fucking
Rick
punching people in
Mahorn
the
was
face.
punching people in the face, and Dennis Rodman punching people in the face.
I would probably say Chris Paul top
Okay.
5, and if he wins a ring, you're looking at top 3.
Okay, you guys, have you watched any of this Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh god, it's on Twitch streams, dude, and I think, and
It's
this
on these
is
TikTok
my
streams.
yeah, it is my personal opinion with knowing limited information that Johnny Depp is completely innocent and Amber Heard is an absolute nut job, and it is unfortunate that Johnny Depp was dropped by so many things because false allegations, and Amber Heard was still able to work for that much longer before shit hit the fan. And my takeaway from it is I hope to God Johnny Depp's not done acting. Like he still's got, the fire under him. And I hope he has the biggest success ever. And Amber Heard, the worst thing you can do to a famous person is forget them. And I hope she gets completely forgotten.
I liked Machete Kills, and she's in it.
Here's the thing: can you separate the shitty person from the art?
I think
It-
that's hard in her case. Like if it's an abuser, no.
Yeah.
Right? It's just she's an absolute nut job. And I just, oh God, it's scary. It's scary because I'm sure that at the beginning of the relationship, she was like, a quote unquote normal person, and it slowly devolved to bullshit. So, like, how do you know, right? Sucks.
All right, Jared. Tell me a couple things you've watched over the past couple weeks that
Oh,
people
boy.
should watch.
Under the Banner of Heaven is really good.
Oh, it's on my queue.
Yeah, that's been really good. Especially with Andrew Garfield's been very, very good in it. I've been rewatching Better Call Saul and then watching the new episodes as they come out. And man, Joe, do you think that's better than Breaking Bad?
I want to say it's close because Breaking Bad did such a good job of cutting it off, like finishing on their own terms. If for whatever reason Breaking Bad was milked to their whatever, it would have been.
Yeah, I don't think that gets touted enough in its favor. Like it really was, consistently good, and it went out on a high note.
Not a lot of people can say that about series.
Yeah.
Or Joe, what are a couple things that you watched that you truly enjoyed over the past
I talked to Johnny about this earlier. I did watch Abbott Elementary. I don't know how I feel about talking head, sitcom / dramas or thing, whatever. I thought it was fine. I don't know if I'm like quote unquote burnt out about that kind of style of TV anymore. Because, years of The Office, years of Parks and Rec, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Modern Family,
yeah.
right?
So, I get why you're doing it because it works. It's a proven recipe or equation that does fine. So it's like a safe bet. So I get that, but same with Marvel. The fact that there's so much superhero movies. It's like having too much ice cream, So I did that. It's fine. It's about a teacher in the inner city in Philadelphia trying to make things work. Really rings true to a lot of teachers out there that have to deal with the bullshit that is being teachers, while at the same time doing the best for your kids. It's a tough job. I don't think they get enough credit for that. At least, if anything, if the show highlights that kind of thing and brings awareness to that, I think it's doing a good job. I've been continually watching more and more Bob's Burgers as they come out. I think I'm excited for the movie that's coming out.
Yeah, you guys excited for the movie?
I am.
It's
so
interesting.
Excited for that movie.
I wanted to ask Johnny this. Johnny, what if Simpsons are on 33 seasons right now, roughly?
Correct. Yeah.
You say the first 10 are really good?
It peaks. It peaks at 6. It flattens because I love 5 and 6. 5 and 6 to me are
what do
like
you feel
hitting
about
the
1,
peak.
2, and 3?
1 is okay. Like I appreciate 1. 2 has hits or misses. Simpson and Delilah, one of the best episodes ever on season 2. But 3 is where they changed. I forgot who the showrunner was. Was it Merkin?
3
or
was
it,
no. It was Merkin was 5.
It was
Oakley. No. I don't think they were 3. I believe it's Gene and Reese.
Gene and Reese, right? Okay, because they did 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Then I know that, but Merkin took it to. He kind of changed the way the show is at 5 and 6. And I think that's where they found their sweet spot. 3 and 4, they still focus on the family dynamic of it. Okay. But yes, I think the first 10 is anywhere from good to great.
And then does it dip at 11?
Correct. Oh yeah.
And it's a slow dip burn till now.
Yeah, I haven't seen the past several new seasons. My friend John tells me they're actually pretty decent. They're not at the same level as what we got to 10, but it like
I just can't get over Homer and Marge being in high school in the 90s. I just
oh, that
okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is Simpsons are on 33 seasons. It's the longest animated whatever. Kudos to them. It's weird that they peaked so early and then they had a kind of a slow, but it's animated, so I guess you just keep doing it, right? And so when did the movie come out for The Simpsons? Like what season were they on?
Like 20 something. because it came
Oh
out in
my god.
2000. Okay, I was still at Hollywood Video. I think it's like 2008, 2009. What is it? 2007. There you go. So that's about
And what season were they on?
right. Has to be if they started in 90 or 88. So yeah, about 20 years.
Okay, so it's
2021.
interesting because now Bob's Burgers. I don't really keep track, but it's 12th season. Incredible. I love it. I think the quality's been pretty good so far, and now they're doing the Simpsons thing. Do you think Bob's Burgers is on a slow dip?
Yes,
Okay, since when?
100%. Since last season,
Okay,
I can feel it plateau, and then
yeah,
this
but
season is okay.
I think
So,
plateauing at a high spot is fine, though, right? Like if you're at a pretty good spot,
well,
you
the
can't
past several,
constantly go up.
correct. You cannot constantly go up, but there's a certain point where like the plateau it stays there, and then you're slowly seeing it start going down. I
Okay,
don't. It used to be I want to watch it every week. Now it's like I let the episodes build, and then I'm like,
and
okay,
watch a bunch of
and
them.
I'll watch a bunch of them, right? And that's not
Now,
something I used to do. It
is
used to
that
be
just the nature of the beast? Like having anything past 10 seasons is just too hard to the
Yeah,
creative
because you
mind.
kind of you just recycle material. It's always kids got to do this, or maybe Luis learned something, or Tina's like overcoming something with her strength, and then Gene is like putting on a musical. So to me,
He's
the
putting on a
good,
musical. That's fucking
yeah,
great.
to me the best episodes now that I look forward to are ones where it's like they'll do those episodes one time where they tell different stories, but it's like from the kids' imagination. Those ones I look forward to now because most of
Okay,
the other ones are pretty cookie cutter. So that's why having the movie come out now is really good because you're still on top and you're kind of doing there. The Simpsons, when this movie came out, it's like we are 10 years too late. The movie was fine.
I think
I
the
enjoy
movie
it.
was good. I
It's
thought.
just that to me it just came out 10 years too late, to be honest. So
Okay, I mean that I would say the animation technology's at least caught up by that time to make it look
and
nice and clean.
which is funny. The Bob's Burgers trailers, I'm all like, oh yeah, Fox gave him that money or
You
Yeah,
can
Disney.
always
Yeah.
tell.
You always tell. It's like, okay, this isn't regular animation. These guys want to make a movie. It looks pretty clean, you guys.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, so, I mean, what is? I mean, aside from those two, I started watching Adventure Time a little bit.
Okay.
I think
How do you like that?
Yeah.
so. This is I've always watched clips of Adventure Time before I actually watched it. I like it, but I'm like, this is not a kids show.
No,
It
it's
is
Like,
not.
it's
not.
I'm like, but it's like kids definitely watch this because it's like a fun, goofy Finn and Jake sort of thing. And I'm like, man, there's some deep fucked up shit sometimes, or like it's out there, and I guess it's for both. Like kids don't get the jokes or something like that. But I thought that was interesting, and yeah, that's sort of what I've been watching. Other than that, I've been just kind of busy, and I've actually another thing I've been just sort of like watching in the background. I don't know why is My 600 Pound Life. I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay, is it me being like, "Ooh, I'm so much better than these people" or something? It's kind of shitty to think about, but it's just on, and I think it's background TV that I've been just sort of used to. But that's it.
I've also been watching pro wrestling, so but that's not.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, the couple movies I watched. I don't know if you guys have watched them or had time. So a couple nights ago, I went out and saw The Northman. Robert Eggers was actually given money to do a movie, and you can kind of see him use every last cent of that money to do the movie. I really didn't know what that movie was about until like after the first 5 minutes. I'm like, oh shit, it's Hamlet. That's what this movie is. It's a weird Hamlet, just Alexander Skarsgård just screaming things. It makes a lot of interesting visual choices. It's a movie I will rewatch probably one more time. I just to make sure that I think I enjoyed the movie. I'm not going to say I love it. I think it was fine. But the other movie I saw a couple weeks ago was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh man, I've been wanting to see it. I just haven't had time.
Best movie so far this year. One of the best movies I've seen in the past 10 years. This movie's fucking
Ooh.
excellent.
Whoa!
This movie is fucking excellent. Michelle Yeoh, for people that just, if you only watch US cinema, you only know Michelle Yeoh for probably one of three things. It's probably Crazy Rich Asians. You probably know her from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or you know her from Tomorrow Never Dies. It's probably one of those three. She is given
She's in Star
such.
Trek.
I keep forgetting she was in Star Trek. Right. But she is excellent in this movie. And the Daniels, they made a very wise choice to try to do this whole multiverse type of thing, which I thought was really cool to do. But if you guys know the guy that played, yeah, God, I can't even pronounce his name, Ki Hui Kwan. He's a Vietnamese born actor, which is really funny. But he was in Indiana Jones, in the Temple of Doom. He was in Goonies. He is by far the best part of this movie, and we haven't seen him in like 30 something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Years. Like he, and I listened to interviews after the movie, and it gave me more appreciation for the movie itself, right? Because he saw Crazy Rich Asians. You're like, damn, like there's a time I kind of want to do movies again. They found him here, and he was given some of the more funny parts, but he was given a lot of the serious parts in the movie, and he just knocks it out of the park. Excellent movie. This is one of my favorite movies over the past 10 years. Like, it is that damn good. And Jamie Lee Curtis was pretty good too. She was in there, and I was like, oh shit, she's in this movie. I didn't even realize it.
Do you think casting people are lazy now? And I'm saying this in a weird way because you did mention that the Ki Hui Kwan guy did an excellent job. And so you say that he didn't do a lot of things. So are there if the casting people went out there and found relatively unknowns that are perfect matches for whatever role they're doing, but that doesn't happen as much because all you do is load them up with A-listers, right? And make them, you know what I mean?
I know. So the casting director, I would assume this is why I can tell which movies from which studios, right? To me, it's not surprising that Robert Pattinson played Bruce Wayne because he was also in Tenet, which Warner Brothers did. So they kind of have connections, right? For when it comes to indie movies, I think the directors have a lot more creative freedom to cast who they want, more or less. And then with the bigger movies, it's like the casting director is like, okay, here's a list of 10. Which 10? And unless it's something like you go out of your way, bat for things like that. So yeah, I'm not going to say it's easy because we just don't overload something like that, except for the new Fast X movie, which somehow got Brie Larson. I don't know how Brie Larson got sucked into this franchise.
Well, what about that Justin Lin thing? Huh?
Yeah, that did you guys see that video clip of Vin Diesel? It's like first day of shooting, and I don't know. I can tell that guy was not excited to be on the set, whether something either personal happened or didn't agree with the direction of the movie or whatnot.
Yeah, it sounds pretty rough, to be honest.
Yeah, because
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
So Justin Lin, he is the reason why.
Oh, it's like he's dropping out of the Fast and Furious thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because he's the director, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he made Tokyo Drift, which in hindsight, no, it's still bad. I don't like that movie.
It is terrible.
He did give kind of like the reboot with like Fast and Furious, and then he gave us Fast 5, Fast 6, Fast 7, which this is where they started, he did 4, 5, 6. James Wan did 7, and then 8 was the guy that did Straight Outta Compton. Shoot, can't remember his name, but either way, he was supposed to finish the last of the trilogy because it's 10 and 11, but he left like after a week when they first started shooting. So I'm just hoping everything's okay, but I have a feeling he just probably doesn't like the direction that the movie is going, which is shocking, right? Because we should know what this movie is going to be anyway. It's just, I think Vin Diesel is a little too big for his britches. Even look, I don't.
Okay, Vin Diesel is a mediocre actor. You can't say because family and pull off like a pillar of concrete off the wall or some shit. It's perfectly fine for Fast and Furious, okay?
Yeah.
It's fine because he's established, but I think that he's a little bit of a one-dimensional actor. Okay? That's my 2 cents.
Pull some fucking concrete off.
God, I saw that. Man, I was like, I shouldn't be surprised because that's the whole shit they pull. He's like fucking pulling down like rebar with his arms. I'm like, get out of here, bro.
God, that's funny.
It is.
He
funny.
takes. He could probably take a car to the chest and it'll be fine.
Well, yeah, he's Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Is there any trailers you've seen where you're like, or even movie posters where you've seen you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna need to watch this movie?
I have been actively avoiding trailers regarding the Doctor Strange.
Correct.
Um,
So let's toss MCU superhero
okay,
movies aside.
so
Is there any
I
movies?
watched the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer. I think
Okay.
that's an interesting. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, with trailers, they make everything look cool. Thor looked interesting. Don't Worry, Darling looked really interesting. To be honest, I watch a lot of trailers, so that's another thing. So, but those are the ones that kind of come to mind.
What about you, Jared? Anything that you've seen? It doesn't even have to be a trailer. Is there anything you've read? Like, I know you were talking about Cronenberg's new movie, which got me. God, I just saw the poster and I'm like, God damn it! Like, this
Can we
guy's like
talk
the
about
ultimate man of body of horror.
The number one movie that I am so fucking excited to see is the Weird Al movie. The trailer
Weird
came
Al
out.
Yankovic story.
The trailer came out for it, and it's everything I ever wanted. It's based on my favorite internet video of all time. I am so hyped to see this movie, and Daniel Radcliffe is the perfect person to play it.
Yeah. To me, I'm going to be very simple about this because I'm going to watch it in IMAX. But that new Top Gun movie looks so fucking.
Oh
good.
yeah.
Oh my god! Like,
yeah,
I don't.
I'm into it. I'm into that.
Just where I get it, Tom Cruise. I don't believe in your so-called religion, but I believe in you as a movie star because you will do shit to make good movies.
Did they have this is Maverick, right? Did they have to redo that because of Val Kilmer issue? Like they have to
the way the trailers make it seem, it's like either he's gonna pass away or maybe he'll have a short cameo, but he is somewhat involved, so he's not forgotten in there.
Isn't he like second ballot, like, you know, in terms of billing? Like,
no, he's more like it's gonna be like a cameo thing, right?
I mean, it has to be, right?
But just watching the trailers, just, you know, I get the commitment of these guys being in those jets to get some of those shots, but the cameras that they put on there to show some of that shit, I know some of it's CGI, but like, I wouldn't be able to tell you where it is. Like, I look at the shots and I'm just like, oh shit, this is going to be good. And shockingly enough, we talked about Miles Teller the time before. Dude, that guy looks like Anthony Edwards' son for that movie.
Yeah.
Just like watching
he really
the trailer,
does.
dude. I'm all like,
also like, it's amazing that he hasn't really been in anything. And I don't know,
man, that 1-2 combo of Whiplash and like Spectacular Now, it's crazy.
Followed it up with the sweet Fantastic Four, right? Or that never came out.
Fan Four Stick.
It sucks that he is who he is, because if he wasn't such a nut job,
yeah,
like he would have an incredible career.
But to me, I think that's why he's good in some of those roles, because he is a D-bag in real life, but he plays it so well in the movies too. It's like,
I mean, I want to say that he has the acting chops to do that if he wasn't a nut job. And I see what you're saying, but it just sucks that he is, because, you know, he's going to be very limited to what he's going to do.
All right, you guys. So normally we would talk about a movie, but like I said, I just wanted to catch up with these guys. It's been a while. It's been pretty fun. So Joe, tell us where they can find us.
You can always find us at Film Lovers GTTG, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you guys want to do. But yeah, it's been a long time since I talked to you guys. I hope you guys have been watching some cool stuff, watching some getting hyped for movies coming out. We'd love to hear about it, or any kind of suggestions at Film Lovers GTTG.
You find me on Twitter at JLuthy, at JLUTHY, not on Instagram.
Don't do it there.
Don't follow me on Instagram. But yeah, I've been pretty MIA off of social media recently, just because I've had so much homework and schoolwork, but I'm hopping on there every once in a while. But yeah, I can't wait to see Doctor Strange coming up, and hopefully we'll see Everywhere, Everything, All at Once soon.
All right, you guys. And you guys can always follow me, Twitter, Instagram at JNO11. That's JNGO11. Next week, we are going to talk about Doctor Strange. Hopefully, everyone here will have seen it. And
I
it'll
hope
be
it's going to
fun.
be really, really good.
I heard it's pretty violent.
It is if Sam Raimi is allowed to do his horror film, I am thoroughly excited. I am also a guy that doesn't try to speculate on what is.
Yeah, as
in the
soon
movie.
as Spider-Man got spoiled for me, I'm going to try my best to avoid everything before I watch the movie.
Until then, we'll see you next week.